Hey, ladies and gentlemen, this is Carmine Sabia for Explain America, and things are going from bad to worse for the Democrat Party, and there's no light at the end of the tunnel. Before we get started, please make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. Those little things really help us out, and they help our channel continue to grow. And if you're not watching us on YouTube, please visit that address in the lower right-hand corner. It's youtube.com/@explainamerica and hit subscribe. Absolutely free. It really helps us out. Craziness, guys. Absolute, unadulterated craziness. That's the shape the Democrat Party's in right now. There is no light at the end of the tunnel for these people. It's getting worse and worse by the day. They do not have the presidency as of January 20th. They will not have the Senate as of January 20th. It is exceedingly likely, I'm going to call it here, they've got the House, the Republicans. So they're not going to have that. They don't have the Supreme Court. They have nothing. They wield no levers of power in Washington, D.C. And once the House race is decided, it's going to be even worse for them. But here's the amazing part. It's going to actually get worse after that. That's the crazy part, because this is what happened to years and years of woke ideology and nonsense that you've been shoving in the face of the American people until they finally said, yo, you people are crazy. We're going to defeat you so badly that maybe you'll have to have some introspective look at yourself and figure out why you've been so resoundingly rejected. Now, so far they haven't done that. A few people have. Joe Scarborough, Bill Maher. But for the most part, they're doubling down on this craziness. I want you to watch this video, though, that really explains it better than I can. And let me know what you think in the comments.
All right, this morning, it is a complicated time to be a Democrat in Washington. And by complicated, uncomfortable. Democrats are trying to figure out what they do now going forward. So what does history tell us? With us now, senior data reporter Harry. And look, Democrats are like whinging in a lot of different ways right now, and they're trying to figure out what to do going forward. One of the things they don't have this time is an idea of who exactly they might follow.
Yeah, there's no heir apparent, and we can see this perhaps best by let's taking a look at the early poll leader for 2028. There isn't one. There's no early favorite. There's no early clear favorite. And that is really unusual, because the bottom line is, when you have no incumbent Democratic president following this year, we've looked back at similar situations. Back in 2017, Joe Biden was the clear heir apparent heading into 2005, and then 2013, heading into the 2016 campaign, Hillary Clinton was way up in the national polls. It was pretty clear she was the heir apparent. How about Al Gore going into the 2000 campaign or 04? Again, the clear heir apparent. You have to go all the way back to the 1992 campaign with this giant question mark over here. Let's see if I can draw it in. There we go. Where there was no clear heir apparent. This is going to be the first cycle, it seems, since going back all the way to the late 80s, early 1990s, in which there is no clear early frontrunner for the next Democratic nomination.
I will say the Democrats won this one, and in this one where they did have an heir apparent, they ended up winning when it wasn't that person.
Yeah, it's exactly right.
So maybe they're better off.
Maybe they're better off, because remember, Hillary Clinton, even though she seemed to be the heir apparent going into the 2008 campaign, of course, it was Barack Obama who basically came out of nowhere after that 04 convention speech to go on to win the nomination. So it might actually be good news for Democrats that there's no heir apparent, but the bottom line is there isn't one.
Okay, in terms of being in the wilderness, sometimes in the past, Democrats have been able to latch on to the outgoing president as someone who can give them guidance. Where does that sit this time?
Yeah, so, even after 2016, right, you go into 2017 and Democrats control no levers of the Congress. Democrats have no, real heir apparent necessarily, except for Biden. But Barack Obama at least had an approval rating nationwide of 53%, right? Look at where Joe Biden's is. 40% at this point. 40%. You have to go all the way back to 1980, as I come to John's side of the screen, to find a departing incumbent Democratic president to have an approval rating as low as Joe Biden's is right now. When you make the comparison to Jimmy Carter on popularity, you know that you're in bad shape.
And then when it comes to what power they actually have in Washington, historically speaking, having no levers of power, they haven't been there that often.
They really haven't been. They've been a little bit more apparent this century, but a GOP pres plus a Congress in the last 90 years, you got 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, and 5 times, just 5 times in the last 90 years in which the Democrats controlled neither House of Congress, which seems most likely at this point, though we haven't projected the House, and not the presidency. So the bottom line is, anywhere you look, John, everywhere you look, the Democrats are in this deep, dark state because they have no heir apparent, the incumbent president's unpopular, and they hold no levers of power in Washington, most likely come January.
And a solace, though, again, at least in this century, when they were in those positions, it did flip fairly quickly, at least here and here.
Yes. So, look, the bottom line is we'll see where we are in 2 years. We're just getting over this election. We don't have to go all the way, jump into 2026 already. But the bottom line is this. For Democrats, there's no real light at the end of the tunnel. It's always darkest before it's pitch black, as John McCain once said.
As John McCain liked to say, Harry, and thank you very much.
Thank you.